Google just released an AI that processes video, audio, and text at the same time, and it's built on completely different architecture than ChatGPT, which means it thinks in a totally different way. This isn't just a performance difference. The way these two AIs are wired affects what they're actually good at, what they're bad at, and honestly, which one might be better for what you're trying to do. So let me break down how they're fundamentally different. Because once you understand this, a lot of the hype and the confusion about AI right now actually starts to make sense. First, let's talk about how ChatGPT works. ChatGPT is what we call a transformer model. It was trained on text, massive amounts of text from the internet, books, articles, basically anything with words. And the way it works is it looks at one token at a time, one tiny chunk of language, and tries to predict what comes next, token after token. That's why it's called an autoregressive model. It generates text in sequence, left to right, like you're reading a sentence. Now, because it was trained on text, it's really, really good at text. It can write essays, code, poetry, whatever. But here's the thing. When you show it an image or a video, it doesn't actually see the image the way you do. Behind the scenes, another system converts that image into text descriptions first. Then ChatGPT processes the text. So ChatGPT is always working in language. Always. That's its native mode. Gemini Omni is different. And I mean fundamentally different. Google built Omni as what's called a native multimodal model. That means it doesn't convert video to text or audio to text before processing it. It processes all three, video, audio, text, in the same space at the same time. It was trained on mixed media from the ground up. Video, audio, text, all together, all at once. Think of it like this. ChatGPT is a person who only speaks language. If you show them a video, they need someone to describe it to them in words first, then they respond. Gemini Omni is a person who can watch, listen, and read simultaneously, all in their native way of thinking. What does that actually mean for how they behave? For one thing, Omni can understand the timing and context of video in a way ChatGPT fundamentally can't. If you show Omni a video where someone's tone of voice changes, where there's a pause, where visual and audio information overlap, Omni has that all at once. It understands the relationship between what's being said and what's being shown in real time. ChatGPT has to process a text summary of all that, which means it loses the texture, the tone, the timing, the subtle stuff. This also changes latency. Because Omni is native multimodal, it can start responding while the video is still playing. ChatGPT has to wait for the whole thing to be converted to text first. In practical terms, Omni can have a conversation about a video faster. That matters if you're trying to use AI to analyze something happening in real time. But here's where it gets interesting. This difference also means they have different weaknesses. ChatGPT's text-first approach makes it exceptional at pure language reasoning. Writing code, philosophical arguments, detailed explanations, it's been optimized for that for years. Omni is newer, and because it's spreading its training across multiple modalities, it hasn't had as much focused optimization on pure text yet. Also, ChatGPT has had way more time in the real world. Developers have figured out all the tricks to make it work better. They know how to prompt it, how to structure questions, what it's good and bad at. Omni is still in the early phase. We're still learning what it can actually do. Here's another big one: training data and bias. ChatGPT was trained mostly on internet text. Omni was trained on video, audio, and text. That means they've been exposed to different kinds of information, different patterns, different biases. This could make Omni better at some tasks and worse at others, depending on what's in that training data. Now, practically speaking, what should you actually do with this information? If you're doing pure language work, writing, coding, brainstorming ideas, ChatGPT is still the more mature tool right now. It's been refined. It's fast. The ecosystem around it is huge. If you're working with video or audio, or if you need an AI that understands the relationship between visual and audio information, Omni is where you want to be. It's not converting information, it's processing it natively. That's a real advantage. But here's the thing that actually matters. This is just the beginning. Both of these models are going to keep evolving. ChatGPT will probably get better at multimodal tasks. Omni will probably get better at pure language reasoning. And other companies, Meta, OpenAI, everyone, is working on their own native multimodal models too. The real insight here is understanding that these aren't just different versions of the same thing. They're built on different principles. And that means they think differently. They're good at different things. And the more you understand how they work under the hood, the better you can actually use them instead of just hoping they do what you want. So if you want to actually keep up with this stuff, not the hype, but the actual differences that matter, subscribe. I break down how this technology actually works every few days, and I promise I'll never waste your time with the obvious stuff.